Alright, here we are, chapter 6. Let's start right at the beginning. Let's take a look at number 1. It's 2x in parentheses squared, so we're going to square everything in there. So I'm just going to write it down here. So we square everything in here. 2 squared, which is 4x squared, which obviously is x squared. Do everything here. Square everything inside here. 4 squared. Little pause on my pen here. 4 squared, which is 16. Alright, so we multiply that by 16, and then y squared right there. Alright, we just multiply these together. 4 times 16 is what? 64, I believe. And then it's x squared, y squared. All there is to that. Let's take a look at number 2. First thing we're going to do is, I'll tell you what, let's rewrite this thing. Alright, I rewrote it just so I could work with it a little bit here. And let's actually change this to a different color so we can work with it here. Let's see what happens. We got a negative out in front, so our answer is just going to be negative whatever it is. So I'm not even going to worry about that too much. Just keep that out in front. Watch what I'm going to do here. This 6 divides into this 36 6 times. So I'm going to have a 6 down here. Look at the letters, the variables with the exponents. A couple ways you could look at it, but this is how I like to look at it. I got 4 A's up here, I got 7 down here, so watch, all 4 of these cancels with 4 of these down here, so I'm going to be left with 3 of them. It's a little sloppy right now, we'll clean it up in a second. Watch, this is b to the first, so one of these b's cancels with one of these, and I'm just left with a b down here on the bottom. This is a c to the first, so this one c cancels out just with 1 out here, so I'm going to have c to the 7th left on top. Now we clean it up. We just have a negative out in front, and let's put a little division symbol here. Let's see what's on top. The 6 canceled, a to the 4th canceled, b canceled. The c turned in from a c to the 8th to a c to the 7th, so we'll keep that like that. Now let's take a look at the bottom. The bottom, we're going to have a 6 down here, and what's this? This is a to the 3rd. And the b canceled, let's see, oh, the squared went out once, so it's just b to the 1st, so it's just a b. This c canceled out with the one up here, so that went away. That's all there is to it. Don't forget that negative out front. You could put it out front, or you could put it on top, or you could even put it on the bottom, I guess, if you wanted to. And to simplify these, they want the exponents to be written as a positive exponent. So all the exponents are positive, and that's it. We're good to go. Okay, number 3, I wrote it down here. For some reason, some people, when they see this, they see parentheses, they think multiplication, but this is not multiplication. Look, you've got a minus sign in between here. That means you're subtracting. This is not multiplication. So this first parentheses, there's nothing out in front. Nothing's going on with this. So I can just get rid of the parentheses in this particular case. Make sure that looks like a plus. And then we take this minus and we distribute it through both of these. So it's just minus d minus 1. Don't forget that second minus. That's the one that people have a tendency to forget to do. Now we just add like terms. 5d minus 1d is 4d. And then 5 minus 1 is 4, positive. That's all there is to it. You're not solving for d. All you're doing is simplifying. I didn't write it at the top of this, but it's the same instructions as the other page, the previous page. Alright, so that's all you do. You're just simplifying it. That's what we have. Let's write down the next one. Alright, this is an addition problem this time. This is actually a little easier than what we did here because you don't have to worry about distributing anything. Plus sign, you're not changing any signs, so really, you don't even need these parentheses. You can just work this thing without the parentheses. So let's just forget about them. We're just going to add some like terms here. So we've got an x squared. Where are there any other x squared terms? Well, right here. So you just add them up. That's 1x squared plus 2x squared is 3x squared. I don't know about you, but I like to cancel them out so I know I'm done with them. Look at the next one. How about the x terms? Let's go like that. It's negative 3x and a plus 7x, which is a positive 4x. And I'm done with those. And then our constants are just our regular numbers. Negative 3 plus negative 2 is negative 5 or minus 5. There's nothing else we can do with that. We're not solving for x. All we're doing is simplifying. And there we go. Alright, now we're changing from addition and subtraction to multiplication. So let's do this. We just distribute the x squared through here. So we've got x 2, and then x squared times x is x cubed plus 9x squared. That's all you can do. Remember, these things are all under the umbrella of simplifying. So that's all we're doing. We're not solving for x. We're not trying to get x by itself. All we're trying to do is take that take whatever they give you and do what it tells you to do. In this case, it's multiplication. Same thing here. But we learn a little, not a trick, but a little method to it, and that was called FOIL method. Okay, it's just distributive property, just the first one times both of these and the second one times both of these. But we learned first, outside, inside, last. So let's do the first, multiply these two together right here. So if you want to, you could do that. And so that's going to be 6y squared. And then you do the outside, or the first one times the second one, and then that's just going to be minus 9y when I multiply those together. Let's do the inside, which is plus 8y. Let's do the last, which is minus 12. Add like terms and you're finished. 6y squared minus, it's negative 9 plus 8 is negative 1, or just minus y minus 12. All right. Just basic everyday FOIL method. This kind of is a FOIL method too, but a lot of people get fooled on this. A lot of people think you can distribute the squared through both of those, but you cannot. Distributive property is only for things that are being multiplied, not by exponents, okay? Not with exponents. So what we're going to have to do, now some of you guys might be able to do this in your head, but I'm going to write it out, because a lot of people forget to do this. When you square something, you multiply it by itself. So I'm going to take this thing in the parentheses, multiply it by itself. Now it's just like this problem right here. It's just a FOIL method. Let's do this a little quicker. So that's 9w squared plus 3w plus 3w. I did outside and inside all together in my head. You should be able to do that. That's one 3w and another 3w, and that's going to give you 6w. And then you multiply the last together, and that's plus 1. Nothing else to it. Now this is distributive property as well. It's not technically FOIL method because you have a binomial and a trinomial. Only use FOIL method when you have two binomials. But it's the same idea. It's distributive property. Take the x, multiply it by all three of these things. Take the minus 1, negative 1, multiply that by all three of these. Let's see what we get. So it's going to be, I'm not going to write all those arrows here, but it's x times x squared, which is x cubed, and then minus 3x squared, and then it's plus 4x. So I took the x and I multiplied it by all three of these things. Now I'm going to take the negative 1 and multiply it by all three of them. So it's going to be minus x squared, negative 1 times negative 3, which is plus 3x, and then negative 1 times positive 4 is negative 4. Don't leave it like this. We have to add like terms. Start with the cubed. Any cubes here? No, just that one. Well, there are, just the one. Now the squares, look at the squares. It's negative 3x squared minus 1x squared, which is minus 4x squared. Again, I like to mark them all so I know I'm finished with them. I can see what's left over. Plus 4x plus 3x is plus 7x. Done with those. And the only thing left is my constant. This is the number by itself. It's minus 4. Alright, that's multiplication of these polynomials. Okay, number 9. This kind of looks like a multiplication problem. You got the parentheses. You don't have any signs in between. It looks like it's being multiplied, and it kind of is. But if you look at this, it's to the negative first. To the negative first means we're going to take this, throw it to the bottom, which really turns it into a division problem. So basically, let's write it down, and let's look at it as a division problem. So basically, this is the same thing as this right here. Just dividing by 2w squared z instead of multiplying by the inverse. That's the same thing, isn't it? So now watch what we do. This is not going to be a long division problem. We're dividing by a monomial. There's no plus or minuses in between this thing right here. This is a very simple division. On the next video we're going to do one that's a little more complicated, but you're dividing by a sum. This time you're not. It's one single monomial right here. So you're taking all three of these and dividing it by 2w squared z. Let's write that down. Okay, it's written out where every one of the terms on the top is being divided by 2w squared z. It's a little easier this way, I think it is. So let's mark some stuff out. 2 goes into 6 3 times. This w squared goes into w cubed just the w times, so it's just left with w. This 1z goes with just 1 up here, so I'm going to have a z cubed. Let's do the same thing here. Nothing goes with the 2 and the 3. W squares cancel. One of these goes with one of these. It's z to the 4th. Let's see, that 2 goes once into 4 twice. This w to the first is going to cancel with that w. Nothing with the z. Right here, let's see, the only thing that cancels are the z's. Now, let's write it out. Taking a look at the first term, let's just multiply all the stuff that we can. That's a negative 3, and what else is left? Negative 3, and then the w is left, and the z cubed is left. Nothing on the bottom. Right here, there's a 3 on the top. What else? Z to the 4th on the top. Look at the bottom. The only thing left is that just plain old 2. Plus, what happened here? There's a 2 left on top. Nothing else on top. Everything canceled out. This canceled, so I just have a w and a z on the bottom. And we're almost finished. 5 on the top and 2w squared on the bottom. Looks a little ugly, but that's what that thing is simplified.